I want to talk about the two disappointments I have with the Pixel Watch. One of them being the battery life, the other one being the Fitbit subscription stuff. So these two things I want to talk about. This is not going to be an uber long video, but I do want to talk about it because I've been wearing the Pixel Watch for about 3 days now. And so we talked about battery life before, and it was we figured it would get at least 24 hours. I hoped maybe if it didn't have all the features on, it would go about 36. That does not seem to be the case at all. And by and large, so I didn't even realize that sleep tracking wasn't turned on the first day that I used it. I did a full charge before I went to bed. It didn't even last 24 hours. I think I got to about 20 hours and I had to plug the sucker in, and it didn't even do the sleep tracking that day. The next day, I did the sleep tracking, and it's falling short. It's like maybe if all the stars align and everything gets just right, you might get the full 24 hours of battery life out of this thing. But man, the battery life is not impressive. It's barely 24 hours. This isn't one of those things where, like I had kind of thought, like I mentioned a second ago, it says 24, but it might stretch the distance. It might go a little bit farther if you turn some features off. I used it very minimally. Like very minimally, like don't even have notifications to where they're making sounds, and not even doing a lot of stuff. Maybe replied to one message or two, just kind of checking notifications periodically as they pop up. Didn't even try to use like the ECG, didn't mess with any extended features on it. The battery life just isn't good. It's not good. And that's not good for the phone. I mean, the watch, because they needed to really nail this. And I think it's fine, but I think a lot of the sentiment, especially with the battery facts or limiting factors, if you want to explain that out, is yeah, at $350, it's kind of disappointing, especially when you look at like the Fitbit world and a lot of stuff that it uses on here, especially for like the fitness stuff, is Fitbit. You would think that it would be, I don't know, more power efficient, but it's just not. So battery life, not that great. The performance is okay. Mine's actually been a little glitchy, and for whatever reason, I mean, I almost typed my password in so y'all could see it. So I'll be on the home screen a lot, and then it keeps sending me back to this screen, and then I'll try to go back to the home screen, or I'll do something else. I have it where it keeps, if I go into notifications or something pops up, mine has been really glitchy, and I don't know why it keeps doing that, but I'll try to go back to the home screen. I'll swipe back, and then it'll go back again, and then I'll swipe back. I've been fighting with it a lot today, so I'm hoping there's going to be some more software optimization to make this a little bit better. Also, when you go in and you use it, so a lot of people also spoke about this. The bezels, not the greatest in the world on here, but also it crops everything out because it's a circle face and the menu is basically like a square. So if you take a close look here, you can see it's cut off around the edges. And this is nothing new to round watches. I've experienced it before with like the Motorola watch, with the Fossil watch, with the Samsung watch. But when you have a watch face that's this small, and it's cropping the edges and stuff out of it, then it makes it kind of frustrating because you don't have a whole lot of space here. And this wasn't even something I was going to dive in too much on here. They could have done this a little bit better, especially if they had made the bezels a little bit smaller. It would have been able to stretch out a little bit more to the edges. Maybe that might have worked out better, but this watch needed to be 44, 45 millimeters, and it's just not. So the battery limitations, the screen cropping, the inconsistencies that I'm having with the software, and then having to pay for the Fitbit premium stuff. When you talk about having to pay $350 and having these inconsistencies, this poor performance, especially in the battery life, and the not the greatest software in the world, and then you throw on top of that paying an extra $10 just so you can access some of the expanded features in here, I really feel like that's a swing and a miss. Like they should have at least given the first year for free. I mean, 6 months is okay. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people clawing hand over fist trying to buy this watch. I think probably it's just going to be pure Pixel enthusiasts and people who just want to try something different, don't want to use a Samsung watch, which I get it. If you have a smaller wrist too, then this might work out better for you. I do have a fairly small wrist. It's not the worst size in the world on my wrist. I mean, it's okay. For as far as being a dude and being like 6 foot tall, the size that I am, have fairly small wrist here, so it's okay for me, but people that have much larger arms definitely are not going to like it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that's iffy and questionable, especially when it comes to the price. This watch should have been $299. Ideally it should have been $249. I think it should have been $249 for the regular and $299 for the LTE model, and I kind of pulling that back a little bit. Originally, I said it should have been $299 for the Wi-Fi and 350 for the LTE. But yeah, with the stuff going on here, the maybe lack of some of the polishing and refinement that I've experienced, maybe other people are not experiencing this. I don't know. I haven't really talked to anyone. I could just be experiencing this in a vacuum, but I've updated the software to the latest software, and that's just kind of the problems that I'm having. Now, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't move and glitch around and keep me from going to the home screen a lot, but it's enough where I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I experiencing this? And then just taking a look at the battery. So no sleeping today. Let me put my pin in again. So today, just using it as I pulled it off the charger, I think around 9, 10 o'clock this morning, put it on my wrist. I'm at 50% battery. No sleep tracking. I haven't done any cardio stuff on here or cardiovascular stuff. No exercising. No nothing. Like there's no extras. No extras have I done. And so we're talking about, right now I'm at about 10, 11 hours off charger, and I'm at 50% battery exactly. And that's, again, no sleep tracking. So it's going to be surprising to me if this does get to the 24 hours again this morning. I'll check it again in the morning after I do the sleep tracking. But yeah, not a good look. And I've seen other people complaining about it online too. And it's just really, I like what they're going for. I like what they tried to pull off here. I hope that this is just the first one of many. Maybe we'll get some more expanded features. Maybe we'll get an XL or a larger model next year, a bigger battery, some things like that. But with the way this one is, with how much it costs, with the battery limitations, the question I have is why? Like, why would they do that? And then why would you want to go buy it? Now, some people are like, oh, I don't care if I have to charge my watch every day. It's one thing if you have to charge your watch every day and it might get you a little over a day. That way you have a little bit of a buffer. There's no buffer with this one. It might not make it to 24 hours, or if it does, you have no extra gas in the tank to keep you going. So it might die on you. You might have to go find somewhere to charge this sucker, carry the charger around with you. I mean, this is probably going to probably cause a lot of battery anxiety for a wearable, which it's already bad enough with like the Apple Watch, the regular one. I really feel like these watches need to go at least 2 days. 2 days is a minimum for me. And I don't know, maybe 24 hours is not a deal breaker for you, but this is not even a pure 24 hours. It's a hopefully 24 hours. It's more like a probably 20 hours kind of thing. So yeah, and then for the people saying, well, you can charge it at night. I'm like, well, yeah, you can charge it at night, but then you can't use the sleep tracking stuff. So it's almost like, why am I even going to do that? Like, why would you want to get something that has these features and then not take advantage of them? Just go get a Fitbit, right? I mean, you don't need to buy an expensive $350 watch for a pedometer and a couple other, health-related and sport features, and then you got to pay for the Fitbit service. It's $10 a month after the 6 months. So those are my general grievances here. And it's funny because it's almost like there is a character from Star Wars called General Grievous. So if anyone picked up on that, just a play on words. But that's all I got on my initial assessment of the Pixel Watch. I'm not too crazy about it and its limitations. So I will make a full review on this later on and come back and talk about some more of it. But that's just kind of my initial assessment. I wanted to get this out for people who, there have been a lot of question marks, a lot of asterisks, a lot of concerns about the battery life on here, how it works in day-to-day performance. And I know people are wanting to get in on these early deals, trade-in offers, buy stuff, use your credit. You can. It's a nice enough watch. It's probably maybe the best alternative to the Samsung watch that's out there, at least in a small form factor, and pairs nicely with your Google Pixel stuff. But I think that they could have done better. And that's, I think, probably general consensus for a lot of people. So that's all I've got. Got to sign off on this one. If you have any questions or comments, and please go down in the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, then please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.